It's finally time for everybody's favorite part of the show, the Blacktivities.
Yo, it's the Blacktivities. What's the activities? Only the factivities. Catch you lactivities. Go.
Florida mom fumes and accuses her son's school of being racist after his teacher sang him the funny birthday song, which includes the lyrics, "You look like a monkey." So I'm sure most of you guys are familiar. This was very common when I was growing up in Canada. Happy birthday to you. You live in a zoo. You look like a monkey and you smell like one too. Teacher is in hot water for singing this to a black child. He black. You can't do that. He black.
I automatically said that's unacceptable. And I don't think nothing's funny about it.
Prather says there's a history of black people being described that way, which makes it extremely upsetting.
My skin is boiling. I don't even like racism, and to know where we come from and our ancestors.
My skin is boiling. I don't even like racism. And to know where we come from and our ancestors.
And for us to be labeled like that, because when they call us monkey, they basically saying that we're ugly, we act like a monkey and all this and that. I don't like that at all.
Polk County Public Schools district staff and the HR department are reviewing this. I followed up with additional questions, like, is this the first time this teacher has sung this song to students? And I also asked, while this is being reviewed, will the teacher still be in the classrooms? I've not heard back yet.
I don't play games about my child.
In a letter to the school board, Prather asked for an
I don't play games about my child. Is the teacher still allowed? Can we get this mad woman away from the kids?
apology, immediate disciplinary action, and counseling for her son. After receiving no response, she decided to show up in person.
They just kept saying it's an active investigation. They can't answer no questions or anything like that.
Yeah, just hold still for one. I'm just gonna. You're a little bit off with the. I'm just gonna. Bleep. There you go. I don't know if you guys can see that well on the screen, but her nose ring is uncentered, and I really want to just help her out with that.
Angelicia Bruton, 10 Tampa Bay.
Prather says her son was moved to a different classroom after the incident, but he hasn't returned to school since. She now plans to transfer him to another school.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear legend. Happy birthday to you.
Would you like the funny song now that I sing to you? Okay, it goes like this.
He asked for it. He literally asked for it. Would you like the funny
Happy
song?
birthday to you. You live in the zoo. You look like a monkey. And you smell like one, two. Woo! Give a clap, everybody. Happy birthday, legend.
You know, I talked about this before, but seeing this woman in this setting with like a nice couch and like nice curtains and that, there's just like an intense feeling of wrongness. You know what I mean? Like you are a fish out of water. You should be literally in like a mud hut.
It's the Blacktivities.
This guy was the superintendent of a public school, and he's an illegal alien who was supposed to be deported, and he was registered to vote. And it turns out that he also has a very long violent criminal record combined with immigration fraud, and his PhD was also fraudulent. Maryland lawmakers concerned after learning Iowa superintendent is still an active voter.
Controversy continues for former Baltimore City educator and Des Moines school superintendent Ian Roberts. He was arrested, you remember, by ICE last week, accused of overstaying his visa. And now Maryland lawmakers demanding answers tonight after discovering he is still listed as an active Maryland voter. WJZ live at 5 o'clock tonight. Caroline Forback on your corner with the concerns over his voter registration and credentials. Caroline.
The State Board of Elections says Roberts never actually voted here, but the Freedom Caucus says that doesn't excuse the fact that he is still registered in the state of Maryland. Also, Morgan State University today confirmed he never actually earned the degree he once claimed. Ian Roberts was born in Guyana and came to the U.S. on a student visa. Federal agents say he stayed long after it expired and arrested him last week in Des Moines, where he was superintendent of schools.
If a black guy puts on a suit and he tells you he's a doctor, liberals will just be like, here's the key to the kingdom. Please guide us, oh wise one. Please tell us how to run our lives. You're a black doctor in a suit from Guyana? Please show us the way.
But here in Maryland, where he once taught in Baltimore, lawmakers say his case highlights a bigger issue.
The Maryland Freedom Caucus looked him up in the system and found that he had been an active voter for more than a decade. What's going on with our voter rolls and how someone who had not been, by their own LinkedIn profile admission, living in the state of Maryland for a decade could somehow still be considered an active voter in the state of Maryland.
On Tuesday, State Election Administrator Jared DeMarinis said Roberts never voted here. He said in a statement that unintentional registrations can occur through agencies like the MVA, and that Maryland errs on the side of protecting voters before canceling any registration. But the next day, the Maryland Freedom Caucus sent this letter saying that explanation only
unintentional registrations of voters. That's what you want to hear. Most secure election of all time, by the way. But we did accidentally register some illegal aliens to vote. You know, these things happen.
Raised more concern.
It exposed a flaw that we have felt like has existed for a while in the system, and that is that not only can people who are here illegally very easily register to vote, but they also aren't being removed.
The caucus wants details on how Roberts was registered, whether he was mailed a ballot while living in Missouri, and why the state resists federal review.
The Maryland Freedom Caucus wants to know what has actually gone wrong here. We want a detailed explanation from the election board.
And another revelation, Morgan State University confirmed Roberts never received a doctoral degree there, despite claiming one when he applied for the superintendent job in Iowa.
His resume was just fraudulent too. They don't check. Dude, you can just lie on your resume. You can just do things.
Roberts remains in federal custody awaiting immigration proceedings. And the State Board of Elections has not yet responded to the caucus.
It's the BLACKTIVITIES.
7 men arrested in Florida in connection to smoke detector theft ring. This guy must be the mastermind. Hermes Sierra. Smoke detector theft ring. That's not a sentence you hear every day.
A statewide organized theft ring gets busted for stealing something we all have in our homes. We're talking about smoke detectors. These are photos of what detectives recovered. Investigators say the ring targeted stores here on the Gulf Coast.
7 men were arrested. 3 of them targeted a Home Depot in Lee County. They stole around $3,000 in smoke detectors. Gulf Coast News reporter Mohammed Abdul Qawi found out why they targeted smoke detectors.
Smoke detectors can save lives, but now they're in the center of a massive retail theft ring, including here in Lee County. 7 men were arrested for stealing more than $800,000 worth of items at Home Depots.
It can be the difference between getting the job done and not getting the job done.
Rudy Prouty knows how important having working smoke detectors in your home can be. His dog saved him from a house fire when his detectors didn't go off.
But I didn't put new batteries in my smoke detectors, and they didn't go off. And my dog woke me up.
When thieves steal those life-saving detectors from stores,
you're taking away, their safety, their protection.
Well, that's exactly what happened at this store along US 41 in Lee County. 3 men accused of stealing $3,000 worth of items, part of a multi-county retail theft ring.
Remember, these are not victimless crimes.
Today, Florida Attorney General James Uthmire announced the arrest of 7 people. They were accused of stealing smoke detectors from Home Depots across the state.
At the end of the day, it's consumers that pay the price. When there's theft in retail stores, it ultimately leads to higher costs for security, for prices of goods, and consumers are hurt.
Investigators say they uncovered at least 44 smoke detector thefts. Home Depot lost more than $800,000. Investigators recovered $78,000 in merchandise during a search warrant in Hillsborough County. Now, Shoppers like Margot Bedinas have some advice for anyone else thinking of trying the same thing.
They can get a job, like you have 2 hands, you have 2 legs, you're healthy, just go. In America, it's so many opportunities.
Othmeyer says the
why don't you get a job?
Suspects are facing multiple felony charges. Reporting from Lee County, I'm Muhammad.
He said the police investigated why they were stealing smoke detectors, but then it was just because they're worth money. Yeah, most things you steal are worth money. People were speculating that it was like some kind of terrorist ring because there's like, I don't know, radioactive material in smoke detectors and you can build a bomb, but I really don't think that's what these criminal masterminds were doing. I think they were just selling it. The reason it's blacks doing it mostly is because they realize they live in a community of people who need smoke detectors. We can corner the market selling smoke detectors to black people who don't know how to replace them. They don't even know they need to replace them. So if you just tell them they need to replace the whole thing, they'll just buy a whole new smoke detector instead of buying a battery.
It's the BLACKTIVITIES.
This guy had 99 previous arrests and then was just arrested for attempted murder.
Take a look at this
after
guy.
Stabbing.
Yes, I know he's scary, and you might see him chasing after you in your nightmares. It's not that bad, though. It's nowhere near as scary as this guy. So relax, it's gonna be fine. What you're about to learn about this guy is so shocking and so unbelievable, you will be stunned. You will be angry. You will question if we have a functioning country at all. So first, let's hear about what this genius allegedly did.
The suspect has been identified as Courtney Booz. He walked up to a man and a woman and started yelling at them. The documents say the woman's husband tried to de-escalate the situation. And that's when the woman says that Booz stabbed her husband. The man is in critical condition, we're told.
Great. Good work. Well, I don't think you'll be surprised to hear he's got a rap sheet, like we seem to hear every day now from a new insane-looking criminal. I want to quickly remind you of Logan Federico, who was killed, allegedly of course, by a guy who'd been arrested 40 times. 40! Her devastated dad...
People have been talking about Logan Federico a lot, and I'm glad to see it. We actually have statements from her father in a video we're going to be checking out soon. But I name dropped Logan Federico when I was on the No Jumper podcast. But that one didn't really get a super lot of attention at the time, but it's getting more attention now.
Went viral for his speech at this hearing.
Can anybody here explain? So many of these crimes, they end up not charging them. They dismiss the charge. One of the guys on the podcast was talking about how a black guy had like shown up on his property being schizo and like trying to break in, and he called the police. The guy got arrested. He went to like testify against him, and they basically like dropped the charges, or they gave him like a deferred whatever, or like a community he got like off with nothing. And the guy was angry, and as he was leaving, he said like one of the people, like the prosecutors or something, said to him something like, "Don't worry, we're gonna get him the help he needs." And he talked about like how infuriating it is. Like, you're the victim of a crime, and these fucking bleeding heart do-gooders, they act like your concern is supposed to be for the well-being of the criminal.
Well, how possibly he could be on the street? Possibly be on the street? How is it possible?
So we go back to this guy, who now has somebody fighting for their life. Let's play a game. Do you want to guess how many times he's been arrested? Here's your first hint. It's more than 40. Much more than 40. Let's double it. 80? Nope. Higher still. The answer? 99 times. He's been arrested 99 times, including for robbery, theft, and battery with bodily injury. Now, let's guess how much time he's spent in jail, at least in the last few decades. Answer? Not a single day. I'm sorry, everyone. This is not how a functional society works. There's an old saying that goes like this: mercy to the guilty is cruelty to the innocent. But of course, Democrats think jails are racist.
We cannot incarcerate our way out of violence. We've already tried that. the addiction on jails and incarceration in this country. We have moved past that.
I think it's time to start executing our way out of violence. Call me crazy, but I have an idea.
It is racist, it is immoral, it is unholy, and it is not the way to drive violence down.
So let me remind you of this boy in Ohio who was sitting in a grocery shopping cart when a woman arrested 1 week prior stabbed him to death. Let me remind you of this paramedic who was trying to save the life of a woman who bit a police officer 1 week prior. He was stabbed to death by that woman. Let me remind you of this woman who was working at a furniture store in Los Angeles when a man with an extensive criminal record walked in and stabbed her to death. Let me remind you of this guy who was pushed in front of a train by a guy with a history of violence. And of course, we all remember Irina Zarutska. We could go on for hours. These liberal judges and Democrat politicians have to be held accountable, or this is never going to stop.
The cost of this is immeasurable. I'm going to come back to that, but man, it's so infuriating.
It's the Blacktivities.
Father of 22-year-old Logan Frederico, who was brutally killed by a career criminal, absolutely unleashes during a House hearing against soft on crime policies.
How many of y'all have kids? I'm just curious. Here's what I need you to do. When I tell you this story, think about your kids. Think about your child coming home from a night out with their friends, laying down, going to sleep, feeling somebody come in the room and wake them and drag her out of bed, naked, forced on her knees, with her hands over her head, begging for her life, begging for her hero, her father, me, that couldn't be there. She was 5'3". She weighed 115 pounds. Bang! Dead.
Jeez. Man, I felt that. I felt that shit, dude.
Why? Because Alexander Devontae Dickey, who was arrested 39 goddamn times, 25 felonies, was on the street. How about that? How good are we doing for our family? How good are you doing for your kids? He should have been in jail for over 140 years for all the crimes he committed. You know how much time he spent in prison? A little over 600 days in 10 years. He's only 30 years old. He was committing 2.65 crimes a year since he was 15 years old, but nobody could figure out that he couldn't be rehabilitated. Well, you'd have to put him in prison to see if he could be rehabilitated. Isn't that the idea of prison? But no, my daughter wanted to be a teacher. She finally figured it out 2 weeks before she was executed. And I haven't heard a damn word from Byron Gibson in South Carolina. Not one word. 4 months, no communication. His biggest concern was that he was pissed off about my interview and how I made him look on the Fox News channel with Trey Gowdy. How pathetic is that? That we're letting our 22-year-old kid visiting friends. It's all she ever wanted to do was visit friends. And she literally was executed while on her knees begging for her life. Her name's Logan Federico, not Irina. And you will not forget her. I promise you. You will be sick and tired of my face.
Based. I'm assuming somebody accidentally called her Irina, which I'm assuming is why he said that. I don't think it was a shot at Irina. This guy's got absolutely the correct energy.
And my voice until this gets fixed. I will fight until my last breath for my daughter. You need to fight for the rest of our children, the rest of the innocents, and stop protecting the people that keep taking them from us. Please. You have the power. We put you in the power to do what you have to do. We're asking you, we're begging you all to stop this. 39 crimes in 10 years, 25 felonies. Can anybody here explain to me, well, how possibly he could be on the street? Possibly be on the street. How is it possible? I could sit down in a room and I could explain the whole process of how it failed, how South Carolina failed, Logan, okay? How lack of communication. What y'all did, you woke up a beast and you pissed off the wrong daddy. Because I'm going to put it out there. And I'm not going to be quiet until somebody helps. Logan deserves to be heard. Everyone on this panel deserves to be heard.
Run. This guy should run.
And we will. Trust me. My daughter laid on the floor for 7 hours
You should like run
before
for
somebody
governor.
in that house recognized that something was wrong. And that career criminal, an hour later, went on a spending spree with her debit card. When they saw his face on a video, they didn't have to do a check. He was arrested so many times they knew who he was. They knew exactly where to go get him. Pathetic. Absolutely pathetic that I'm here today.
It's the Blacktivities.
A city of Montgomery to host HBCU Classic Weekend. So this is from like a week ago. The HBCU Classic Weekend
Same
was
weekend.
this
It's the
past
first time
weekend. And HBCU, if you don't know, that stands for Historically Black College or University, the Classic Weekend. And what happened on the Classic Weekend? 2 killed and 12 wounded in shooting in downtown Montgomery, Alabama. So it was like a festive, people out for the weekend, out on the town in the evening, and there was a mass shooting that left 2 dead and 12 more wounded.
We have confirmed that there are 14 victims who have been shot. Of those victims, 2 are deceased, 3 are life-threatening, and 9 are non-life-threatening at present. I am so angry that I'm holding on to my composure right now because this was not a typical mass shooting that people typically read about. This was 2 parties involved that were basically shooting at each other in the middle of a crowd.
This is the kind you don't typically read about because it doesn't turn into national news because it happens multiple times a weekend in America.
And now we have 14 people who have been shot.
Anyways, they don't have the suspects. They're not arrested. They don't know who the suspects are. So we don't actually know if this was black people. So I don't know what's the over under. We'll see. We'll put this one in the maybe column and we'll see if they actually ever catch the guys.
It's the Blacktivities.
8 shot, 2 killed at the Kickapoo Lucky Eagle Casino in Eagle Pass, Texas. Karen Rashad Jones and 2 white people murdered at a mass shooting at a casino in Texas.
We are on top of all this breaking news this evening. Mass shooting at a casino in Maverick County. That's what we're getting to first. At least 2 people killed, several more hurt. Law enforcement is investigating just outside of Eagle Pass. Thanks for joining us. I'm Mandy Noel. That shooting just before midnight overnight at the Kickapoo Lucky Eagle Casino and Hotel. A 34-year-old man now facing capital murder charges. The casino, located on the Rio Grande, is about 20 minutes outside of Eagle Pass and nearly 200 miles from where the suspect, 34-year-old Kieran Jones, was arrested in Wilson County by Texas DPS. Leader Jones previously served in the National Guard. News 4 San Antonio's Destiny Fuller joins us now live from Eagle Pass, where the Maverick County Sheriff spoke very briefly just in the last hour. Destiny?
Mandy, that's right. And after a long day in Eagle Pass, this was the first press conference that we heard for the day. And like you said, the sheriff, Mr. Tom Shermer, kept it very brief, saying that this is still early in the investigation. Here's what he said. Deputies were dispatched to the casino around 11:45 last night to help Kickapoo Tribal Police secure the area while they searched for the shooter around the Kickapoo Lucky Eagle Casino. He got away and was later found in Wilson County.
Kickapoo Police Department, in collaboration with the Texas Ranger and DPS, located the suspect in Wilson County, and he was taken into custody. The suspect name, he's 34 years old, and his name is Karen Jones.
Jones is facing 2 counts of capital murder and 5 counts of assault with a deadly weapon. Witnesses gave us a first-hand account of how it all went down. A packed Saturday night at the Kickapoo Lucky Eagle Casino, quickly becoming deadly.
Everybody started getting out of the casino. As we were walking, we stopped, and I heard someone yell, "Active shooter, run." And after he said that, I heard 2 gunshots, and that's when we started running towards the exit.
Noemi Trejo was on what was supposed to be a relaxing sister trip. Instead, their group witnessed a shooting that left 2 people dead by Sunday morning.
My sister says, "Oh my God, there's a body. Oh my God, there's a body." When we started getting closer is when we realized that they were right there, like literally in front of her truck.
Another witness who wants to stay anonymous said she and her family saw everything unfold from their hotel room.
We started seeing a chaos because from our window you could see from the hotel side, you could see everybody running out.
Eagle Pass Mayor Aaron Valdez confirming the identity of one of the victims as Mark Antley in a Facebook post, describing him as a friend and generous leader in the community. He's also a retired U.S. Customs and Border Patrol agent.
It hurts me more seeing them also suffer for no reason. They had no fault in this. They just at the wrong place at the wrong time, and that our hearts are with them.
34-year-old Carrion Jones is in custody for the shooting. He was arrested nearly 175 miles away from Eagle Pass in Stockdale, reportedly taking state troopers on a chase before they caught him. Investigators are still trying to piece together why this all happened. Witnesses dealing with unexpected trauma.
They're like, oh, the witnesses, they saw it all go down. Here they're like, and then the witnesses are just like, yeah, it was crazy. He's shooting people. So they didn't really see it all go down.
It was just scary. Okay. We couldn't even go back. I couldn't go back to sleep. I didn't go to sleep till
I thought you was going to say arrested 175 times too for a second there. I was like, you got to be shitting me.
5 in the morning.
And probably have to seek counseling for this, because it's something traumatizing to see.
So the question now, what happens to the alleged shooter, depends on who he is. If the suspect is a member of the tribe, federal prosecutors could step in alongside tribal authorities. If not, the case goes to state and federal court. The Kickapoo tribe would hold Jones until he's handed over.
Guessing he's probably not a member of the Kickapoo tribe.
It's the Blacktivities.
Alleged habitual drunk driver charged with killing an up-and-coming tennis star in Los Angeles. Police say Jenia Belt, 33, mowed down Braun Levy, 18, while drunk and having a suspended license. She is currently free on a $0 bond. This account, National Conservative, is really good. I get a lot of my Blacktivities news from this account. He's always tweeting out stuff like this. Now, this happened a while ago, back in like May, because I was looking it up, but I guess she just got charged. Here's a little video about the kid.
The family of an 18-year-old tennis standout and straight-A high school senior has created a nonprofit in his honor. Last month, Braun Levy was walking home when he was hit and killed by a suspected drunk driver. Braun's family is now keeping his memory alive by encouraging everyone to live like Braun. His mother, Jennifer Levy, is joining us now to share her son's story and the lasting legacy he leaves behind. You're joining us with a smile on your face. And you know, the first question I asked when you walked in the studio, how are you doing? Thank you so much for being with us this morning.
Thank you for having me.
And I'm sure everyone who's been following this story wants to know how you're doing.
It depends on the hour. It depends on the day.
Mm-hmm.
But we
smiling. That means she never loved her son. By the way, we're not gonna get into all that the Erica Kirk stuff, but that's what that means. She never loved her son, dude. This is what I'm talking about. Like you can't measure the cost of these people, what they take from us with all these people, the Irenia Zarutskas and Logan Federico, this kid, what's his name? Braun Levy. You know, there's that infographic thing has been going around Twitter a little bit that says that like the average white person pays like 900,000 net in taxes, and the average black is like a negative net 750K. They always try to do this shit where they you can't measure these things. You can't measure the loss to a society from having promising, high-performing people murdered by useless trash. The all-boys Catholic high school senior, he and his tennis partner Cooper Schwartz and Levy. What is going on at these Catholic schools? Are these guys ethnically Jewish Catholics?
We are at the location where sadly that young man lost his life. His family spoke with Fox 11 News to honor his memory. Take a look.
He was friends with everybody. He was a bright, bright star with an amazing future that was robbed from him much too early.
Jennifer and Dan Levy want people to remember their son, 18-year-old Ron Levy, exactly as he was, a kind, loving, and respectful young man.
You know, everybody says, oh, he's the tennis player and smart kid, but he was way more than that. His personality was off the charts. He was always up to something. Everybody loved him, not just the athletes or the cool kids, but everybody.
Braun was a senior at Loyola High School, where he led his tennis team to 4 straight league championships. He was preparing to attend the University of Virginia in the fall. But early Sunday morning, his parents received the call every family dreads.
I knew right away it was very bad because I have gotten a call, unfortunately, in the past when they say everything is fine, your child is fine, but this is what happened. And they didn't say that.
She was first arrested last May. Media claimed she was charged with murder and held without bail. However, public records show she was quietly released on June 4th with 0 bail, and her charges have been reduced to misdemeanors.
It's the Blacktivities.
Live Oak police arrest 3 accused of murdering man during robbery.
Just in tonight, 3 people are facing charges in connection to a deadly shooting in Live Oak last month. Police officers say 18-year-old Tara Williams started talking with Joseph Simmons online, and the two agreed to meet up February 21st. Investigators say Williams planned on robbing Simmons along with 20-year-old Zed Washington and 17-year-old Octavius Webb, who we do not.
Octavius. Why? He's only 17. He's just a child. She flirted with this guy to get him to come meet them, and then they robbed him and murdered him. Why would Octavius? Glocktavius, no. He was gonna be a rapper. He loved doing his little songs.
Have a mugshot for because he's a minor. Simmons sped away, but in the process was shot. Officers say they're pursuing charges of felony murder, robbery, and tampering with evidence.
So they don't show the victim in that one, but our boy National Conservative here definitely looks like a wigger, and maybe a little melanated himself, maybe a little bit on the swarthy side. Wait, is this Doctavius here? This guy's 17? Bro, he looks like he's 35. He looks like he's 35 and living in the 70s. He looks like he's in a blaxploitation film. Use the internet to lure Joseph Simmons into an ambush by Zed Washington and Zactavius Webb. Simmons sped away after being shot, but soon died.
It's the Blacktivities.
Oh, this one's infuriating, man. Man who randomly stabbed a 6-year-old to death let out of prison after serving just 10 years. Father of the boy vows to kill him if they cross paths.
I held him in my arms, and finally he took his last breath, looked at me, and closed his eyes, and he was gone.
Ronald Exantis traveled from Indianapolis to Versailles, walked into the Tiptons' home, and attacked the family in their sleep. Logan was killed, and his father and 2 sisters were injured.
He snaps, and he just stands up with me sitting on top of him, and he throws me across the room. 10, 15 feet, he throws me across the room and goes after her.
3 years later, in 2018, Exantis was found not guilty of murder by reason of insanity.
Not guilty by reason of insanity. That is insanity. The fact that that exists, the only way that that should be a possible thing to have exist is if you are automatically instituted for life, right? If you can't not kill somebody because you're insane, that should be worse than just be found guilty of murder. Because a person who is guilty of murder could at least potentially be rehabilitated. But if a person who is insane killed somebody because they have no control over that should be worse. They find that, and it should mean you never get released ever.
Convicted of assaulting other family members. And just this month, October 1st, Exantis was released early from prison for good behavior.
So the assaults were sane. He was responsible for the assaults, but not for the murder. Beating up the family members, sane thing to do. Killing the kid, insane, not responsible. How does that make any sense? Out on good behavior.
It's infuriating that a 6-year-old was killed sleeping in his bed, and someone literally only did 10 years in prison, and he didn't even do the time for that. He did time for assault charges. It's just infuriating.
But the family says it isn't just anger they're living with. It's fear.
Me and my siblings and even my mom and dad, from here on out, we have the burden of making sure that he doesn't come back.
He told her he was going to kill every one of us. So now, I've got to be on extra guard to protect my kids, because I will not lose another one. Not like this.
He threatened them? Hold on. He told them he was going to murder them, and they still let this guy out?
So now, I've got to be on extra guard.
Burden of making sure that
Let me
he
hear
doesn't
this.
come back.
He told her he was going to kill every one of us. So now, I've got to be on extra guard to protect my kids, because I will not lose another one. Not like this.
I laid in bed. I gave up. I gave up on life. I gave up on my family.
These, so their 6-year-old son was murdered 10 years ago. And you can just see what it's done to them. You can see how it's worn them down as people, the devastating effect of this. It's not right, man. It's not right that I know it's like obvious to say, but it really is infuriating. There's no other word for it.
Gave up on everybody. I just wanted to die.
Everybody deserves a fighting chance to have justice for them, and it's not.
I've had my talks with God, because I'm not afraid to tell you all. I told the court, if I ever cross paths with him, I will kill the man. I will kill him where he stands.
Based?
It's the Blacktivities.
Don Lemon has a message for white men.
Men who look like you, men who vote like you, and men who sound like you. White men, something is broken. Something is cracked deep inside when so many of you believe the answer to fear, to loss, to change is violence. Are you listening to me? I hope I'm saying it loud enough for the...
See, he could be saying this directly to the dad we just watched. Something is broken in you. You think the answer is violence? Yes, actually. Actually, yes.
It's the Blacktivities.
9-month-old girl shot and killed outside Georgia motel. Police arrested 22-year-old Ladarius Brown.
Police say they arrested Ladarius Brown for aggravated assault with a gun against another person, plus murder for the cause of the baby's death.
We heard it like, it wasn't just.
He has a show. I mean, he's just streaming. It looks like he's just streaming from his living room. It's funny to see. It's kind of satisfying to see Don Lemon and Joy Reid reduced to the lowly status of living room streamer. Pathetic.
One shot, you know what I mean? Like they had a clip, so they all ducked down. And then the next thing I knew, the police were just here, and I had no idea like what had actually happened.
Cobb County records show multiple cases for Brown dating back to 2021. They include possession of a gun, robbery, battery, theft, assault. Cobb County jail records.
Murdering a kid should be worse charge. I think it should be like infanticide, and it should be like harsher penalties. All murder should be executed, but if it's infanticide, it should be like a more painful kind of execution.
Records show another male arrested at the same hotel.
What color was I don't know. I think maybe black. I think it might have been his kid. I don't know. They don't really say. They don't tell you. But a lot of times these people, when they murder a baby, it's like they're killing their own baby because they don't want to pay child support and shit like that. I don't know. I don't think they say in this video either.
Booked around the same time as Brown. He's being charged with tampering with evidence and falsifying or concealing facts. Both are felony charges.
Hey guys, the clip you just watched is from my daily stream, The Daily Cope, which I do Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday mornings at 10 a.m. on the Daily Cope YouTube channel, as well as my Rumble, Odyssey, Cozy, and other platforms. If you liked it, maybe come check out the live stream sometime. We have a good time there. I'll put the link down in the description where you can find it. Thanks for watching and have a great day. Peace.